Welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. You watch UAP Truth 33. If you're on Rumble or X or any of those, it's John C's Truth 33. But it's all the same. You can find me on YouTube by typing in John C's Truth 33 or UAP Truth 33. It really doesn't matter. So that new movie's coming out. I think it might have already came out. I think it dropped. Age of Disclosure. And basically, it features a lot of government insiders, people who worked on these SAP programs, reverse engineering, UAP task force people, and basically, they're all saying the same thing. You know, UAPs are real. They've been interacting with humanity. This interaction is ongoing, and not only that, but they're talking about aliens, dude. But they call it non-human intelligence. And I think they're doing that because there's a belief that these things are ultra dimensional. So they're not like us per se, where we're stuck in this three-dimensional reality with these five senses, taste, touch, sight, hearing, and our consciousness is pretty much limited to this five sense, you know, time and 3D spatial dimensionality, where these beings are not. And this is where it gets strange because you start thinking about time. Is it in fact linear? And to take it even a step further, is it even real? Does time exist? Um, some scientists say that it really doesn't. It's an abstract concept that we use to make sense out of how we experience reality. It's a way for us to organize the way things happen to us in our life or the way things that we do things. It's really just kind of like a measurement abstract construct that humans use, but is in fact not even real. And that's crazy. And I'm gonna break it down further. Stick with me because it gets even stranger. So this concept of time isn't real, and that these beings aren't limited by linear time the way that we are, and that they're also able to manipulate this construct that we use that we call time. They're able to also manipulate reality, our minds, the way we perceive reality. These beings appear to be massive amounts ahead of us. Maybe they're not so friendly, and that's scary. I'm going to show you a clip today on that subject. And I'm going to show you a clip of a cattle mutilation. And I just want to see what you guys think. So check out this clip. It's going to blow your mind. And then we're going to come back and we're going to unpack this thing.
Welcome back to On the Record. The subject is UFOs. We're about to see part of a documentary. John, perhaps you could introduce it. It deals with the 14,000 cattle mutilations that happened.
That's right, and we were particularly prevalent around Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah. And it was a documentary made by Linda Moulton Howe for the CBS affiliate in Denver.
And let's take a look at that now, a piece of it.
To die each year from hard winters, disease, lightning strikes, predator attacks, and other natural causes. But in northeastern Colorado, another favorite spot for the mutilators, Tex Graves, former sheriff of Logan County, insists the 93 mutilated carcasses he investigated were not natural deaths.
The very first one we had was southwest of Sterling. When we first looked at it, it was just unbelievable that you could take an animal and do this too without leaving some kind of track, some kind of evidence behind, such as cigarette butts, matches, handprints, footprints, but there was nothing. The animal looked almost horrible, and it was something that I didn't really want to believe then. And there was, we probably had 5 or 6 others before I really did believe something strange was going on. We had one up north where we believed the animal was paralyzed and was alive when it was being mutilated. An eye and an ear, the tongue, the rectal area was taken out, but the animal dug a hole with its head, but none of the other parts of the body moved, not even the legs. 6 north of town on a very hard pasture, almost like hard brick. We found tripod marks 12 inches across. The tripod marks were 14 feet apart. We found one set that had gone in the ground roughly 8 inches. And it would take a good post hole digger or our shovel to dig in like this. It indicated something very heavy had set down in this area, yet there was no tracks leading from it nor to it. Almost nightly when this was going on, we could pick out a very brilliant, huge, brilliant light in the sky. We had a newsman take pictures of it with a very high-powered lens, but all we got out of this was the movement of it and the light showing very brilliant. Several times we observed smaller lights come out of this aircraft and then come down toward Earth. This huge, brilliant light would hang in the air, and then when it would move, it could move up and down, backwards, forwards, travel very rapidly, and after a while, these smaller lights would join up with the larger one, and then they'd disappear.
Lou Gerardo is the chief investigator for the district attorney's office in Trinidad, Colorado. Extraterrestrials are the ones mutilating animals. What do you think the implications are then for this planet?
Throughout the mutilations, all of us involved have been concerned with the possibility of the mutilations going from animals to human beings. Understandable. Thank God to this point it hasn't happened. Whatever they're doing with the portions of these animals they are taking, I haven't the slightest idea. There's a reason for it. It's not haphazard. There's a pattern to it. I don't know. I think it's a wait-and-see game. What else can we do? If we do have beings from outer space doing this with the capabilities to do things like this, what can we as a human race do? If they have the knowledge and the technology that it looks like they have, we're powerless. So maybe it's a wait-and-see game. I can't see anything else to do.
Well, he says the mutilations have not gone from animals to humans yet. You agree with that?
There have been some humans. It's a very, very sensitive subject. I'm going to steer away from that. But I will tell you that since the beginning of this year, there have been over 200 animal mutilations on Long Island. It's supposedly a big secret. I know that there's 4 major law enforcement investigators working in plain clothes.
On Long Island, New York?
Yeah, Long Island, New York. We have an investigator working with us who's sending us videotape and keeping us informed of what's going on. So it still is a problem.
And you say it's food. That's what they're doing.
Well, food or genetic experiments, take your choice.
Now, it hasn't gone maybe to the point of where they're mutilating humans, but you do believe there are abductions. And you also believe that at one point there may have been some kind of a clash between American military forces and these UFOs?
That's one of the stories when we began to discover what I call the Grand Deception. Was in 1979, and apparently there was some kind of clash. 1983 is the date that I call that we finally recognized that we had made a disastrous mistake. And that's when MJ-12 realized that they were in deep, deep trouble. They had made a deal with these people, and it had not worked out. And now the question was what to do.
You got about a minute left. What would you like to say to people out there to prepare them for it? Now, you've made allusions a couple of times when I've had you on the program that something is coming. We've heard that before, something is coming. Why do you think something is coming? What's coming? And how should we get ready for it?
There's really no way to get ready for it. The reason I think it's coming is because I have contacts within the government that tell me that they're bracing themselves for something, but they're not going to tell us about it. George, maybe the cover-up was in our best interest, maybe not. Maybe the government underestimated the intelligence of the American people and decided we just couldn't handle it. But let me tell you this, the truth is still the truth, and nothing can change that. Not the military, not the government, and not me.
So that's crazy, right? Whatever did this to this cow, followed it for hundreds of yards. Apparently, this cow was trying to get away from this thing. And the tracks on the dirt seem to show that these things surrounded this cow. Just in case I get copyright on it, and so I'm just going to explain again, real fast. Just going to re-summarize what you just saw. So this cow, it's being followed by something. Whatever these things are, surround the cow, and then man, they do this extremely gruesome surgical thing, and they pretty much just stripped this cow of organs. The lips were missing, the eyes were missing, and there's no blood anywhere. You could see that it was cut. It was real surgical cuts. The animals did not touch this thing. You can tell because if an animal would have, there would have been like teeth marks and stuff on the bones. There was none of that. No evidence of that. And that's kind of scary. And this farmer said that they had saw lights out there in the field, you know, the night before. Dude, are they doing these types of things to humans? And if they would, right? How would we know that they were doing it? Okay, let me explain. If these things are ultra dimensional, not limited by time, they're able to manipulate our minds. They're able to manipulate matter in our environment, or at least the way we perceive it. And this kind of gets into the simulation idea of our existence. Would they be able to just kind of erase a human being from memory? I don't know if any of you have watched The Forgotten. Very good movie. And that's what was going on in that movie. The Forgotten, awesome movie. And they were erasing human beings, and nobody would remember that these human beings ever even existed. So then you would have to say, like, how would we know? And that's where it gets scary, dude. You get into the whole abduction aspect of this phenomenon, and like missing 411 and the missing people in Alaska, the Alaskan Triangle, where 20,000 people went missing in the last 20 years, something, maybe 30, but still, it's almost 1,000 people a year. And that's why you use headphones. My audio just went out there for no apparent reason. So I had to stop and get things set up again. Maybe it's evil government forces hacking into my computer to affect my audio so I can't post this. Maybe I'm getting too close to the truth. Listen, dude, I'm a conspiratorial minded MFer, dude. Like, seriously. If you watch this channel, you might experience effects of paranoia and conspiratorial thinking. It's just a side effect of listening to my BS, but it's not BS. It's a very serious. Excuse me, I keep clearing my throat. I'm not sure what's going on here with me today, but we have to ask these questions, and we can't be afraid of the answers. Now, when Colonel Blitch, ex Delta soldier, had PhDs in all kind of fields. This guy's intelligent. He speaks to Ross Coulthart about his abduction experience. I don't know if any of you guys watched that. He was on a mountain bike. He was abducted. He had missing time. His wife didn't know where he was at. She had a missing persons report out on this guy. And listen, he had an experience with a mantis type being. And dude, that's crazy, right? A mantis. And I have a feeling that these things are probably, some of them are insectoids. Because if you think about it, insects would be the thing that I could see um, advancing like us, probably way past us. They would be the species, one of these bugs. I mean, they're just equipped um, to do that. If you think about it, like an ant can lift how many more times its body weight. I don't know if any of you guys ever saw like a line of ants walking, and they're like carrying crumbs and little pieces of food and stuff, and it's like, wow, dude, that ant is strong. You know what I mean? Like, have you guys ever seen that? This is the shit I think about. But yeah, dude. So insects, that would be a species that I could see advancing millions of years farther than us. You know, and they got their little antennas. You ever wonder what those things are for? You know, could be senses that we couldn't even fathom. For all we know, they might already be way ahead of us. Look at bees. You know, they make honey. You know, they're in tune with their environment. You know, maybe, dude. Just things to think about. So is it that far fetched that Colonel Blitz didn't have an experience with this mantis type being? I meditate a lot, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. And listen, I'm not gonna say that this is gospel or this is absolutely positively true, but I'm just gonna tell you my experience. I was meditating and I was experimenting with just trying to contact a higher intelligence, right? And during this meditation session. And I felt as if I was contacting something. And the picture that I got in my mind was of an insect, and it stroked its antenna as if to say, like, aren't I beautiful? And I was repulsed, you know, because it was a bug, dude. And I came up out of the meditation, and it's never happened to me again. But this is just my personal experience. Listen, dude, maybe it was just some kind of daydream nightmare type of thing because it freaked me out. But it happened because I meditate all the time. I meditated before this episode. What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? You know, I kind of like pray, you know, for the strength to be able to be honest with you guys, um, not be fearful of how people are going to think of me, and just kind of just let it flow, man. Just roll with it. Just go with it, whatever it is, it is. Um, I do these things, you know, and it's not woo woo. I think a lot of people do, and I think it's important. I think it's a positive thing. I think we can use this to further our goals, to generate or emanate positivity out into the world, you know, because I believe what you put out is what you get back. You know, if you're a POS, you know, a piece of, you know, then that's all you're gonna have in life is a big turd. So, you know, it's an important thing. Cool. It's a tool, you know, meditation, visualization, um, writing a gratitude list, you know, prayer, whatever your twist is, you know. Even if you're an atheist, dude, Consciousness is real, and pray to the universe, whatever you're into. It helps, and it works. And for me, I think this whole UAP situation is an awakening that we're awakening to these beings that are around us, and they are. They're hiding in our oceans, dude. There's been film of them flying out of erupting volcanoes. I personally posted a clip of one of these things siphoning plasma off of the sun. The thing was probably the size of a planet. I might post it here again today just so you guys can see it. As a matter of fact, watch this.
Monitoring images from a solar telescope in Earth's orbit, see something ominous just to the west of the sun's south pole.
What the heck is that? It's Darth Vader's big vehicle, of course.
It looks like the Death Star from Star Wars.
Certainly hope it's not a Death Star. Otherwise, we're in serious trouble.
Planet-sized tendrils appear to connect the globe of darkness to the sun's surface. This connection fuels speculation that the sinister sphere's presence near our star is no.
So there you saw, like, now some of you may be saying, well, it could just be a solar storm. It's not necessarily a UAP or a planet-sized, maybe intelligent beings siphoning plasma from the sun. But how do we know all the forms that life takes? For all we know, the sun could be a living being. I mean, there's already evidence that plasma may be able to contain intelligence. And, we got these scientists that think, they scoff at all this talk. This is too woo-woo. Like, we're the end all be all of intelligence. Just because we can't experience it, then it definitely doesn't exist. Come on, man. Come on. That's just conceit, you know? Seriously, man. Like, we're that self-centered and self-righteous, and we think that we're like so special that there can't be another life form that maybe takes a form that we won't even recognize. Like, if we would see it, we would be like, what are we looking at right now? It's possibly like these plasma orbs that Chris Bledsoe says are like light beings, dude. That they can come down in the form of an orb and then take shape, material form right in front of you. It's just a wild theory to think about. So the Age of Disclosure came out. I recommend everybody watch it. I think it's a very important film, possibly one of the most important films of the last 50 years. It just depends how much people watch it, how much people believe it. But you got to ask, and I'm even going to ask, right? Why is the government coming out and telling this stuff now? A lot of people think it's a psyop. It's possible, right? That's good. It's possible, man. Would this be like a distraction? Look, because they use things to their advantage. They have these think tanks that just sit around and strategize how to take everything to their advantage. You know, it might not even be a psyop against us. It might be a psyop against another government. To get them to start wasting mass amounts of money in the study of this subject, just so we can keep a head start in something that we're studying that we don't want them to know about. Like, let's act like we're disclosing this subject so that they want to investigate this subject, waste mass amounts of their money in the study of this subject, so we can get a head start over here. This is what they do. It is. Are they doing that this time? I don't know. And even if they are doing that, does that mean that this subject doesn't hold any merit? I don't think so. I think it does. It's just maybe they've already figured this thing out. Who knows? Listen, I'm not in the know. I don't know anybody. I don't have any connections, but I just research this subject 24 hours a day. It's just what I do. If I'm watching YouTube or Rumble or whatever I'm into, right? I'm either watching like how-to videos about electric bikes or I'm checking out UFO stuff. Once a month I go for a long ride on my e-bike. I'll just go like 10, 15 miles, come back home. So my motor took a crap on me last night. And dude, I'm almost 300 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm 6'2". I'm probably like 250, 260, maybe a little heavier. I just pushed the bike a little too hard. Motor's screaming. I take the throttle. It's just like, whang. It's a horrible sound, man. But when I went out, I go on these rides. I'll take my night vision binoculars and I try to just, I'll just pull over to the side, nice quiet spot, usually overlooking something on a big hill, and where I can see a large stretch of the sky. There's not too much light pollution. And I try to catch things with my night vision binoculars. And I'm going to post something here of something that I caught just to show you guys. And it was strange, right? And it was blinking. Could it have been a faraway, high-flying plane? Sure, it could have been. The anomalous part was that it was invisible to the naked eye, but you could only see it with night vision. You could only see it on infrared, which made me think that it was cloaking or something. So I'm going to post that here. Yeah, check it out. Come on. You can barely see it. Look at that. Like, I wouldn't even notice something like that. All right, now it started moving really slow. Now it decided to kind of, but it's not really moving too much. It's just kind of hanging out. Dude, it's weird. I'm gonna end it for now, man. Ain't no sense to use a gig or 2 gigs just to film this thing. But that is weird, man. Did I see another one? You see another thing blink down there in the corner? Could have sworn I just seen something blink down there. Let me look. Oh. Starting to move again. But not really, though. It's awesome. Whatever it is, it's pretty cool. It's just out here hanging out with me, I guess. Come closer, you know? I ain't gonna hurt you. How the hell would I do that? Come on, come closer. Man, that's really cool, ain't it? We're going on 6 minutes now. See, now that's a plane. See that? See that underneath it? Now that's a plane, dude. This thing we're looking at is not a plane, dude. What is it? I know it's faint. I know, like, you know, we're not looking at like a flying saucer or a disc or a orb right in front of us real close, but it's freaking weird. So there, I mean, you see, it's kind of weird. But here's the thing: that thing's so far away, I can barely see it. It's dim. I can't really make out what it is. So, does that mean it's a UFO? No, of course not. Who knows what it was? The strange thing was that it was only visible with infrared. Oh, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, man. And thank you to all my new subscribers, everybody that's been watching lately. Thank you very much. If you're new here, please hit the like and subscribe. Feel free to share this. Use it in your content. I don't care. And I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.